Hello, everybody, and welcome to Viewing Gods, the Explosion Network's American Gods After Show. I'm Dylan Blight, and joining me, the true Australian God, Nicholas Pryor.
That's me. Obey me. Give me your worship.
I think I swear every episode still you're just like, oh yeah, that's a thing that's said. Like, it's part of the intro. So this week, of course, season 2, episode 3. Written by Heather Belson, directed by Deborah Chow. The synopsis for which was: as he is tracked by Mr. World, Shadow makes his way to Cairo thanks to a ride from Sam Blackcrow. Mr. Wednesday slyly gains Laura's help in forging an alliance with a powerful god. I wrote down through my notes the general synopsis of the entire episode in case you kind of forget what's happened. We get to see Shadow trying to find his way back to Wednesday throughout the episode after he bumps into this new character, Sam, and they do a lot of a car ride, and Shadow does some of the bits and pieces. Then we get to see, mainly the episode is focused on Laura and Wednesday, who go on a road trip together to Argus, which we'll get into, obviously, and is a old god working with the new gods. New media finally shows up in this episode as well and joins Technical Boy as they as well go on a trip to find Argus. And then we get to see where the Jinn went and what him and Salim are up to. And then we also get bits of comedy thrown in with Mad Sweeney just tripping over things throughout several sections. You're already shaking your head. Overall thoughts on this week's episode, Nick?
Underwhelming. Very much so. The thing is just getting worse to worse at the moment. Yeah. You can definitely, like we said it last week, but even more so, like you can definitely tell the quality of the show's going down. It's gone from a great show to an okay show.
And I'm still... I agree, but I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's definitely points in the show I was like, why is this happening? Like, did I really need to see this? Could it been done better? I don't know. It's just a lot more in your face now, which I kind of enjoyed the subtlety of last season. I think, like jumping ahead to what happened, like Wednesday explicitly tells Laura she has to burn down the library to go ahead, whereas if it was continuing on the style of last season, he would have just burned it down and not explained what was happening and left it. The show would have left it to you to figure out what was going on.
Yeah. There's lots of things. I think not so much that stuff that makes it stand out as that it's more of a like normal, quote unquote, normal show now to me isn't really even that stuff anymore. It's the moments where a scene transitions and it's some pop song playing and you've got Mad Sweeney fucking tripping over in the road and like
slapstick
comedy just like happening throughout it with songs playing and these sorts of things. They were the moments that really made me go, okay, it's so much different to last season. It's
the fried chicken, the Mad Sweeney,
look, I'm still putting the fried chicken as the worst joke of the season so far. I'll take Mad Sweeney accidentally lighting a boat on fire over that chicken joke, because that one wasn't very good at all.
But even the whole situation of him being there at that point doesn't make sense anyway.
Who, Matt Sweeney?
Yeah.
Why? In what fashion?
Explicitly in the last episode, he goes, I'm not going in here without you. You got my coin. I'm not leaving you out of my sight. And then he goes fucking halfway across the country without her.
That's a good point, yeah. That's a good point. I don't know why he wouldn't... Yeah, I don't know why he didn't just... like, if she's like, oh, I'm going with Wednesday, then he's like, okay, well, I'm fucking guess I'm coming with you too. Even if Wednesday tried to stop him, then I guess he could have just hung around outside Argus's building or something. Just been like, right, well, I'm waiting here then. Fuck off.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. I thought it was a okay episode. I think it's the worst of the season so far. It's like...
Yeah, I would probably agree with that.
It's episode 1 had a lot more remnants of the first season. I thought, like, we could kind of tell obviously it was different, but it was still like, oh yeah, there's like a little bit.
It's kind of like what I'd liken it to is kind of like when Bon Scott died in ACDC, and you know that
Yeah.
no, Back in Black kind of still had the remnants of having creative input from Bon Scott before he died in the creation of that album, whereas afterwards you could tell it was its own separate thing, where the first episode kind of like it has
Transition.
leftovers and kind of like a little bit of creative input from the previous creators, and then from there on it's its own thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. And it's even more so because it's like episode 2 less it's like less and less of the remnants are falling away as the episodes progress, I suppose. Yeah. So it's like by the time we get to the end of this season, where are we going to be at this stage?
We're gonna end at season 9 of Supernatural.
Fucking hell, please no, please, please, I can't handle it. End of season 3. That's what I need.
Yeah.
It's the thing where I'm like, quality wise and writing wise, I'm like, yeah, it's not up to where it was season 1, but I'm still like, I'm enjoying seeing like Laura and Wednesday argue about stuff. I'm enjoying seeing Technical Boy and this new weird media kind of like, I'm not sold on this, but it's weird and I'm intrigued at least. And then I was even enjoying seeing Shadow actually interact with Sam in this, and we get to see a little bit more of character with him, which we'll discuss in a second when he's like doing stuff in the shop and whatever else. So there was like a lot in the episode I was enjoying, even though I thought it wasn't.
It's odd, because the individual characters are fantastic and everything like that. It's just the way it's drawn together is just underwhelming.
I suppose
you stay for the moments, you don't stay for the overarching thing.
I suppose it's because, like, at the basis, it is based on a book and everything. So the characters like have a certain set in stone thing to them, and then the actors, as we discussed, obviously, the actors are all great, so they're kind of carrying their character. They're carrying the crappy writing when it's bad, usually. So but I'm still enjoying it. Is the thing. Like, as much as I can be like, oh, that was weird. I don't know why they have all these mad Sweeney moments tied in and stuff. I'm like, oh well, I'm still looking forward to next week. I mean, I'm still like, what's happening next? What's happening next? Yeah. Tell me.
It's especially at those points where you realise that they don't really have much because they're filling in space with that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know exactly where would you say this is in the book currently, if you was to guess?
Chapter 8, I believe. Chapter 7 or Chapter 8.
How many chapters are there?
I think it's in its 20s, I believe.
Okay, so we're about halfway-ish.
Yeah.
If you go
halfway, a third. Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So, all right. So the first thing I want to discuss is what Shadow kind of goes through in this episode. So we, of course, start the episode with the train wreck thing happening, and then Shadow gets left in the train wreck while Laura is taken off by Wednesday, which we'll get back to Laura and Wednesday's thing. But I don't understand how this car was fine. B, I don't understand why Wednesday really left him there, other than I presume Wednesday left him there solely so he could go fuck with Laura. But it didn't seem like that's what he wanted to do. He was like, oh yeah, no, trust him, blah, 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 blah.
I think, I don't know, he needs Shadow to come to some sort of realization on his own without kind of...
about what?
I don't know. Because at this point, when we get to at the end of the episode, at that point in the book, he is like almost commits suicide. Like he's very depressed and unsure about everything.
Because I would say by this end of the episode, he's more like in tune with what's happening a bit.
Oh yeah, well I think that's the point where he wants Shadow. I think that's where he wants Shadow to be to move forward with his plan.
Okay, so and do you want to try and explain the car to me?
Oh, I got nothing.
Last episode, they park the car. He says, "I'll see you in Valhalla. Goodbye. Rest in peace." It ends with a horse coming out of it into like the fiery flames is what we kind of met.
Which looked
pretty cool. Episode starts, trains crash. I'm like, right. The car's still there, unless it's a new car that was reborn from the old car.
God, shenanigans. That's all I can put it down to.
It was such a big moment of the last episode, though, and now she's like, "Oh yeah, we're not going to explain anything, but there's a car still."
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's worth worrying about like a lot, but either way, I was like, I know what's going on. It was a thing that happened. I was very confused. So then, so Shadow manages to crawl out of this. She's chained up, whatever, still in the machine, obviously, and things.
Yeah.
Also, try and tell me Mr. Town isn't dead now.
Oh yeah, I don't think he can come back from that.
Yeah, I think he's officially done at this stage.
Yeah.
Then we get so he crawls out. He manages to, and of course he's fairly beaten up. He makes his way into the forest and stuff, and he like kind of collapses at this well or something like that. I guess is what it was. And he goes down there for a while, and that's where we get to see like the titular thing of the episode, I guess, because it's called is it Muninn or Muninn?
I think it's Muninn or something.
Muninn, yeah. So that's where you get to see Muninn, Wednesday's bird crow, sitting there checking up on him, hearing Shadow mutter to himself about a whole bunch of stuff, I guess, really nonsense. And then the bird does go back to him to Wednesday in a little bit, which is quite funny. But Shadow then wakes up and he goes down to a gas station. I like the gas station scene here because, like, well, you see, like, he nearly gets hit by a car, which we then find out Sam.
Yeah.
Like, she beeps at him. He's like, what the fuck is this fucking zombie on the road doing? Get out of the way. Then he goes into the gas station, and we actually get to see Shadow do something that I suppose he would have done a lot of back in his day, like a trickster type thing, I guess.
I don't really remember his history, but I believe I got the impression that he'd learned these tricks off his time with Wednesday earlier last season.
Really? I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, well, because when they were like first initially doing their road trip, they were doing like con kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, that could be true. I don't recall. Yeah. I don't recall them doing the money thing, but it could be true. But but either way, I thought it was nice to see him actually do something. And obviously, he's trying to be all charming with the clerk at the store and stuff. So that was cool to see. Yeah, it was all message directions. Like, I've only got 20. Break it in. I kind of like how it was all done because I'm like, what is going on here? Then I like caught on to what the whole thing is.
$10 note,
yeah, it's like just complete. Yeah, I've only got 20. Oh, I bet. Hold on.
Yeah,
like actually, I've got singles, so if we can, it's like you end up on top. I was enjoying him doing that whole scene. So then we get Sam coming in. Well, we don't know her name's Sam until the end of the episode, but Sam comes in, and she obviously is aware, I guess, of him doing some sort of schemey type thing, and instead of dibbing him in, she just pretends he knows who he is, and it's like, you're gonna have to pay that. Too, she's like, I guess you're gonna have to pay that $20 for me. So she ends up paying him as well, and Shadow's a bit like, I'll pay for her fuel. Here's the $20. It's yours anyway, but I guess fuck. So then he goes out and he ends up talking to this girl who's got a ridiculously dirty car that constantly has "wash me" written on the back of it throughout the entire episode. No one ever stops to wash it, ever. It's quite disappointing. They make a huge road trip. No one ever stops to do anything. Yeah. And across their journey, I don't know, like, I don't really understand the point of these two characters together at the moment, I guess is my thing. But I obviously haven't read the book, so I don't know if she's important, not important. If she comes back, I would presume she comes back at some stage. Yeah. How she comes back, I don't really know how that would happen, I guess, because it doesn't really make sense in the context of the show for this random character to kind of make their way back at the moment, from what I understand. But I enjoyed these two together, I guess is the thing. Like, they were fun to watch interacting with one another.
In the book, she's the hitchhiker and hitches a ride with Shadow, and he drops her off at her home. But they have kind of like, I guess, philosophical discussions about gods and stuff like that. And she tells him stuff about, like, myths about Odin because she's studying. I think in the book she's a college student making her way, doing a road trip or something, or hitchhiking away across America, and she's studying history and female studies, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, I think it's just a vehicle for them to have I guess for him to, I don't know, come to grips with the whole situation. But in the context of the show, it's kind of odd as well.
Yeah,
So.
that's in the show it's like, okay, but they also don't have, none of their conversations to me seem super important to like Shadow's
no they don't
character's growth. They obviously discuss Laura at some point.
Yeah,
she assumes that when they stop for lunch and she's like, what girl, and then she's like, oh, there's always a girl, and he's like, yeah, well, this one's dead. And that's she's like,
you're like, oh, okay.
That's a little bit awkward. The only time they discuss gods is when he just assumes that she must be one, because that's what his life is these days, where he's constantly bumping into gods of some sort left, right, and center, and he asks her if she's a god, but she says no.
But back in the day, she would be godlike because she's like two spirits in one body or something like that.
Which I took as she must be like mother or father, like from a tribe or something.
Her mother, I think, her father was Indian and her mother was white.
Yes, that's kind of, I took it, that's what that must mean in some regards.
I believe it had some significance in the book, but I can't remember what, it doesn't really matter at this point in the show anyway.
No.
So.
I looked at her up on IMDb and I couldn't see if she was back at all this season. No. It might be hidden. I don't know if it might not show up until she shows up, so I don't really know. But yeah, it's like overall, it's weird to say because nothing really happens with these two characters on the road that I could gather of any significance. Although I was enjoying them just doing nothing, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, she takes pictures of him, she's whatever, talks to him, they go on this trip, they stop for food, blah, 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 they make their way to Cairo, she drops him off at Ibis's funeral home, then she gets to see him get petted by fucking fireflies on the way in or something. Yeah.
I think for the purpose of the show, she just seemed like a vehicle to get to point A to point B. Again, another kind of like it was a way for them to fill in time instead of him just getting a car and driving there himself.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just weird because she doesn't seem like a throwaway character. Even if you haven't read the book like I haven't, it's like, surely she's not.
If she comes back, it might have some retroactive context to their conversations, maybe.
Have to see, I guess. But yeah. All right. So that's kind of all that happens with Shadow for the most part. He, of course, at the end, he rocks back up at Ibis's their funeral parlor, and Wednesday's there after all his stuff that he goes through in this episode, and it just ends weirdly. But we'll come back to that.
In the book, Wednesday isn't there at this point, so that's
okay.
They changed as well.
Well, at this point, from what I get, they're changing a lot.
Yeah,
so.
Quite a lot, yeah.
If we go to Wednesday then, so after he kidnaps Laura, which, I did make sure to write down that line because that was quite fucking funny. Because the episode starts with him walking over the train wreck and seeing what's happening and stuff. And then it also the episode did open with this big, lots of confusing shots and stuff happening. So I was like, what's happening? And then we'll straight into the rest of the episode being kind of normal and stuff. But I was like, okay. But yeah, he's walking over and he finds Laura, who's just sitting there without her arms or legs. They've all fallen off. And then Wednesday says, Mrs. Moon, did we have a great fall? Which was quite good, especially,
I believe there was a line where he goes to Sweeney, pick up all her pieces or something, something to do with the rhyme.
Yeah, so that was quite funny, especially with Ian McShane delivering that, and that worked quite well. So yeah, they chuck her in the boot of the car, which, chuck her in the boot of the car. They finished episode 2 and they're like, fuck, we need a way for her to for them to get her pieces. The car lives. They go back to the funeral home and Ibis is piecing her back together at this point. And then while they're all waiting for this to happen, we also get another funny scene from Ian McShane, which is when Muninn shows back up to give information about Shadow and what he's doing to Wednesday at this point. And then after learning it all, he's like, fuck off then. Or fuck off now. Or something like that.
Fuck off now.
He can fuck off now. He's like so nice to his bird. And then you can fuck off now, straight to it. Which is kind of like one of those moments of, he's like, oh, they're his birds, and he should be nice to him, surely. Like, what's the bird done? And then once he's got everything he needs out of the bird, still he's just like, fuck off then. Fucking.
There's also a scene where Ibis is eating bits of Laura as she's putting them back together.
I was like, is he eating her? Is he eating the worms or something?
In the book, when Shadow gets there, he does an autopsy and he eats bits of the person, which is kind of his way of experiencing their life.
Because then he starts talking about stuff to do with her after it. So that all makes sense. So they piece her back together, and then they have a conversation about Wednesday's like, you come with me, you help me with what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to this place, and if you help me, I'll be able to like bring life back into you or whatever. He's like selling her on blah, 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 blah. And Wednesday's also like, you need to come with me because Shadow's going to come to me, basically. So stay with me.
Which also doesn't make sense because last episode or two, it's like, Wednesday's bullshit. Don't trust anything he says. Fucking don't do anything for him. He's just using you. And she just so easily turns around and goes, yep, I'm going with you. It's fine.
Yeah. I at the time I took it as her just being like, yeah, I understand he's probably fucking with me, but I still don't really have a choice about the matter. But then by the episode's end, I'm like, no, you just got completely played. So Sweeney, of course, is like, no, don't go with Wednesday. Come with me. We'll go to this person I was talking about in New Orleans, and we'll go see that person. That's where I'm going. Dead wife, come with me. Yeah. But yeah, she's like, no, fuck you. Come with Wednesday. Heads out door. Sweeney's like, you're dumb. You're dumb, dead wife. Dumb dead wife. What are you doing? Then they head off to Argus's building, which we learn about from this one, probably the only scene in this that's kind of reminiscent of kind of stuff from season 1, although it would have been a lot more elaborate and visually probably would have actually shown what we're seeing instead of just using a carousel, I guess, which is the story of Argus, who I wrote down as this, and some of this could be wrong, but wrote down he was used by Hera, which she used him to watch over Princess Io, something, who Hera had turned into a heifer, a cow, after the princess had an affair with Zeus.
Yes.
And then she uses Argus, who is like all-seeing, covered in eyes, and obviously that's why he's a god of surveillance or whatever, knowledge or something. She sent him to watch over him, but then Zeus sent Hermes in disguise to kill Argus, and succeeded, kills Argus, and then Argus was sent as a memory, whatever that means. I don't know how that works, but he was sent as a memory of a god or something to America after his murder, and that's when he arrived in America and he joined up with the new gods, and he basically became the god of whatever, knowledge, surveillance, something. I mean, drones.
This is all completely off the reservation. It's nothing of this is in the book. So
is Argus in the book?
No.
Okay, so it's a whole new.
Yeah, it's all new stuff. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So in the building, when I don't know where this building was either, I missed whatever.
I think there's something similar, like it's a massive server farm somewhere in the middle of America that like the NSA have headquarters there.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
So they were basing it on that. So they head there, and then Wednesday and Laura kind of make this separate stops around certain sections. So the first one, they go up in some elevator and they come out into a giant, what looks to be a giant field, and Wednesday points out it's a memory of a field or something along those lines.
Yeah, they're going back through his memories and previous incarnations.
Previous incarnations of him. Yeah. So and the first one that we see here is, I took it as like his original, like the cow's there.
Well, the cow is Princess Io or whatever.
Yeah. And then he's watching over her, but then he's got
dead,
well, he was watching over her, but he's got the knife in him that I presume was Hermes's and was used to kill him, I suppose. Is that what we're piecing together here? But also while they're there, they get started into this very long conversation that they kind of continue up to several levels of the floor, which basically just boils down to Wednesday trying to convince Laura that she's not actually like her, because he's constantly like, why'd you come back to life? What do you need to do? Why are you back alive? And she's of course always going shadow, and back to come back to life. And he's like, well, what's your big plan? To have kids, get married, etc., etc. Is that what you're going to do? And she's like, I don't know. And he's like, you're not come back to life for Shadow. That's not what you're like is kind of keeping you alive at the moment. You're just keeping yourself alive because you want to be alive.
She's lying to herself,
Yeah, she's like trying to come up with some big better excuse in her head for why she's got a second chance, I guess. When really it's just she wants to be alive like most humans would be, I suppose. It's just that's their guiding force. And of course, until we get to a moment later, she's just constantly arguing about it. Like, you don't know me. You don't really know me. But in this one scene here, we get to see, so Wednesday goes up, fucking slits the cow. It's like that gory shot of blood going everywhere, and then turns into Princess Io. It's like, hi, what are you going over there? And then goes over, takes the knife out of the old Argus's body, and then they head back up kind of into the next set of floor. I don't know how the elevator's guiding them to, because they're like, we don't really know where we're going. We're following memories. I'm like, are you just pressing a button and it's literally just taking you to some random fucking location or something? I don't really know how it's working. But where they end up next is a library, the Grand Library. It was like a Greek.
It was the Great Library of Alexandria, which is in Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
The tie-ins.
Oh, not Odyssey. The Egyptian one.
Origins.
Yeah, that's it.
And so he's dead in this one, like kind of over the books and stuff, I guess, in the middle of the room. And it's just this was a cool scene. I like production wise. I was like, oh, this room looks kind of cool, and these sorts of things was at least interesting about. And there and then this is where they get talking. Wednesday's like, I know you. I know you did this. You rented a book from the library when you was young, and then your dad beat you with it.
Yeah, I miss libraries, and when's the last time you ever been to one?
Yeah, just because she's constantly lying to herself about stuff. She's like, yeah, I used to love libraries. And he's basically saying, yeah, maybe you loved libraries when you were 6.
Yeah.
Like, and you, ever since then, you're like, I love libraries, but when's the last time you actually stepped into one? Yeah, but she's like doing this whole, you may know stuff about me, but you don't know me. That's
you don't know my life. You don't know what I've been through.
You don't know anything about me.
Leave Brittany alone.
And then then they talk about the library, blah 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 blah. Tell a bit of history about it and sorts of things.
Caesar and the siege and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and like how he came in and burned it down and stuff. So that's why they're like, aha! Burn the library down. So then she, of course, burns the library down.
Disco Inferno.
I also wonder how the fuck later on in this episode, Technical Boy and that just managed to skip all of these steps. I'm like, God damn it. They get to skip all the puzzles somehow. Then they head up they head up to the top floor where Argus actually is. And he's in the middle of the room, strapped into all these cords and server farms and stuff, I guess. And he's sitting there being all kind of gross and creepy, and at this stage Media and Technical Boy are talking to him, which we'll get to in a second, of course. And then Wednesday starts saying, I need you to kill him with this sword, knife, dagger, I suppose. You need to do that. That'll bring life back to you, because the thing you desire most, blah 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 blah. And she's like, no, it won't, because I'm actually like, I need Shadow. He brought me back to life. His kiss.
He kissed me in a...
The kiss, my heart came back to life. And he's like, no. This will prove my point. You do this, watch what happens, and then, I'll be right. # Wednesday was right. So you can get the fuck out of here. She's like, okay, fucking... Right, I'll do what needs to be done. Runs into the the room while a certain thing's happening, which will save it.
Which is weird. Argus is the god of surveillance and all seeing and all that, but he has no idea what's going on in his own fucking chamber.
He's having sex at this time, to be fair. Which I'm saving for in a moment. Laura ends up stabbing him in the back of the neck, though, or wherever, one of his eyes. Like Wednesday says, stabbing in one of his eyes, and that'll help survive. And then, of course, he kind of...
Yeah. Technical boy sees her and he goes, oh, guys, and he goes, oh, don't worry about it.
Yeah, he's like, no, fuck it. Just kill this fucking guy. Just save me He's like, just save me the trouble. I can't get in trouble if you kill him. Even though I want to fucking kill this guy, so you get rid of him. And then, of course, after she kills she does get life breathed back into her. Her heart goes off kind of like when Shadow kissed her, of course. And Wednesday says, yep, there you go. Look, exactly what I said. It's not about Shadow at all.
Yeah. That'll
last for a little while. Won't last forever, but there you go. There's some more juice in your engine, I guess. And all right, have fun. See you, bye. And then he leaves it there.
Yep. Also said, which is kind of weird. Like, not about that, but her killing him, and then because he betrayed him. Like, what's to say he doesn't come back and just betray them again?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah,
these gods.
Yeah,
they do funny things.
Very much so. Yeah.
I mean, so Argus. It's not episodes about Argus, and he just ends up dead at the end, kind of.
Yeah.
And I highly doubt they'll actually bring him back in the show.
No,
it's just like a throwaway thing about like if you ever come back, like don't forget which side you're actually on.
Yeah.
So rewind time. At some I have to kind of do it this episode because it's like two different storylines and they end up at the same place. We get in the bunker of the Eye of whatever fucking thing's called. I forget already. In the bunker of the Eye of whatever, we get to see Mr. World still arguing about shit with the person there, and then the person running it then makes jokes about Technical Boy because he's like, oh, well, it would work better if I had more servers, or like something like that.
Technical Boy has a go at him because he offered to update it all, and they didn't take it or something like that.
Oh, really? There's a lot of jokes in this with Technical Boy about like even media later's like, if you give me more bandwidth. So we finally get to see new media born this episode. I don't really know how this happened or whatever. I guess after last time we saw them, Technical Boy was yelling at a little
floating
orb thing. And now this episode, she's being born out of a screen, I guess. I don't really know what's happening. But we get to see Kim, that's how I'm going to say it, step into the role of media or new media, which they do make a big point in the episode to point out is new media, not media. And it's kind of a corny, really weird scene where it comes out and Mr. World's like, media? She's like, no. And then Mr. World goes, new media? It's like some anime shit writing, really, like new media. But yeah, so when she first comes out, she like there's emojis and all these sorts of weird things happening, and then she also, as like a throwback to the original version, when it says media, she kind of throws up this Marilyn Monroe filter over her face, and it's like, yeah, that's me. Like, okay, I get it, sure. So, what do you think of new media? I guess.
I think she portrays what they're trying to portray extremely well. But what she's portraying, I'm not a huge fan of, which I think is kind of the point. Like, she's obviously new media. She's emoji. She's a K-pop star. She's fucking just like cringy internet fucking Snapchat wannabe, I guess. Yeah. I mean, which the actress portrays it extremely well, but I think the character is going to wear very thin on me.
Well, even though she's like, I've got so many followers and I get like 1,000 likes a second. And
She's more cringy than fucking Technical Boy. That's saying something.
It's good. Yeah, well, it makes more sense to see these two team up now because I couldn't imagine Technical Boy with Gillian Anderson's here really like teaming up at all. Completely different. Like I'm in the middle still. Like there was obviously some weird cringy stuff, but at the same time I'm like, do I like this weird cringy stuff? I mean, it's weird.
It's portraying the message they're telling very well.
Yeah, I'm like,
about it.
Yeah, I get what they're going for, and I think it kind of makes like for the fact they had to replace her. I think, given everything, the way they've replaced her kind of makes show within the show's context as well to a degree, because it's like, yeah, she was like David Bowie and Marilyn Monroe and all these old things, and now she's updated to emojis and Snapchat filters and whatever the fuck else. So I get it. I think it works. Whether she'll be as interesting as the old media, I guess, is yet to be determined, or what she's actually going to do in the future. I don't know. She could just actually be a nothing role, really, and not actually do a lot this season. Find out. But if anything, she's at least going to be weird and interesting.
She appears to be a lot more self-serving, too.
Like about herself.
Furthering her own agenda as opposed to
being
on the New God side.
Yes, which is weird because it's still the same character. And
the way I interpret it, I guess, it's only just occurred to me, it's kind of like the Doctor's regeneration, where they still have the memories of the previous incantation, but the new incantation is like a completely new personality.
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. I can get down with that. So she gets tasked with as well as Technical Boy to go to Argus, which Mr. World is pissed off about because his drones are breaking and he's not feeding him with surveillance. I didn't really gather it.
They were tracking Shadow and then with a drone, and then one of the
Ravens took it out.
It,
Yes, and then
he was a way to get off. He got off the grid somehow.
Yeah, I don't really understand why Mr. World was like, you need to get him in line. You need to tell him to stop having these drones being destroyed by birds. You need to to make sure he's aware of how to go about fixing this. I wasn't really sure what he's...
Yeah, I think it's just his way of trying to go over and bring him into line, because I think maybe Argus was still on the fence of who he wanted to be with, I guess. Maybe. I
don't think so. Yeah. I mean, his fucking drone got killed by a raven. I don't think there's like, much to say about it, really. But yeah, so at first Technical Boy's also like, I'll just send him a text.
Yeah.
And then Mr. World's like, no, we're building the new world on the old world. And to do that, we have to respect the old fashions. So you will go speak to him. I'm Crispin Glover doing Mr. World right now. So, yeah. And then those two head off to Argus, which... Yeah, so there's one funny scene where they're standing at the elevator or whatever, and she's like asking about if she can get more bandwidth off him and all these sorts of things to get more followers and whatever sort of stuff. So you get a little bit of a better idea of what this new media is at this stage, I guess, other than her weird intro where it's like, yeah, okay, she's got filters and stuff, but you don't really hear her talk.
Which kind of blurs the line between the two of them too, because they've become sort of similar as well.
They're a lot more similar than they was, for sure, so...
I love the comment that Technical Boy has the world and goes, "This is a fucking upgrade."
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I was like, is he saying what they expect the audience to be saying at this stage? Yeah. Or it's quite funny considering he's fucking walking around being a douche 24/7 with vaping and stuff, and he looks at her and he's like, "No, not at all." Yeah. That's saying something. So they get up to Argus, and Technical Boy's like doing this whole speech about Argus being his little bitch. He's like, "You use technology, and I am tech. You are my bitch. Listen to me. You are my bitch." And this whole thing, I'm like, what are we waiting for him to say? I still really didn't understand. I'm like, what are we waiting for him to say? What is Argus to say that makes everything okay? Like what?
Exactly, yeah.
I don't understand what was even happening. Really, is the thing. Like I'm like, is he supposed to say sorry? Like, what do we want? But whatever they want wasn't happening.
Nah.
Believe it or not. And Technical Boy's eventually pushed to the side by media. He's like, don't worry. I got this. And she walks up to him and is like, hey, big guy. How you going with all your little eyes over there? You seen some nice things? I'm new media, in case you haven't met me. And why don't we join forces? And why don't we do things? And then as this is all happening, I'm like, no, surely they're not about to. And then next second, he sticks a surveillance cord right up a media hole. And they start partaking in surveillance sex, and emojis start flying off her.
I think it was meant to their way of signifying how in the current world Facebook is now surveilling people and collecting data and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like them coming together, surveillance and media. And media.
I guess, I don't know. Like I kind of, maybe my mind just couldn't look past the fact that she...
Yeah, it's certainly fucked by a cord.
Yeah, you kind of get distracted by that at that point, especially when then she's like, with fucking emoji shit flying.
She's media. She's fucking hentai too.
Yeah, getting fucked by tentacle monsters. So that was an interesting thing that happened, and that was gonna, I don't know where that would have ended if it wasn't interrupted by Laura in a moment's time here, of course. But yeah, at what stage does the surveillance media orgasm end? I don't know. Like, would it have gone forever? Who knows? Would Technical Boy have just been stuck there?
Into Max Zuckerberg or whatever.
Mark Zuckerberg. Comes out, just actually, it is Mark Zuckerberg. No, it's fucking, what's his face playing Mark Zuckerberg. He's like, I am Facebook media now. Fucking changing forms every episode now, media. That's interesting. It's a brave choice. But yeah, so that's those characters. That's the thing that happened. There was that's stuff. Then the other kind of thing, the only other main kind of plot point for this episode was the Jinn and Salim and what they were up to going over to retrieve the weapon, which is at a strip club, which I was trying to catch his name and I couldn't figure out what the fuck. I couldn't bother rewinding. The what?
Corn Palace.
Corn Palace. Okay. So I got corn something, but then I couldn't figure out what the rest was. I'm like, it's probably not important. So they're going there to retrieve the weapon. They go in and they meet Gnas. Let's try. Ready? Gnas I don't know. Tall dude, deep voice.
They're Native American gods.
Yeah. That's boil it down that way.
Basically, he's the Schoenberg of fucking Native American religions, and the other guy's the Nancy of Native American religions.
I got the offer. I didn't. The Naz guy, I was like,
no, he's not explained at all in the episode.
I was like, you're not really explaining. I don't really know what you're about.
Well,
but
they don't even know. They don't even mention his name. You have to look it up.
Look it up on or see it in the credits or something. Yeah, but at least for Iktomi, which is the person they're going there to see, which is they do explain that he's a spider god at least. So I'm like, okay.
A trickster, yeah.
I get where we're going. He's a shapeshifter, trickster, dude, whatever. That all makes sense. Got it. I kind of understand what's happening now. For this other dude, I have no idea what your story is, but you're kind of scary and I don't like you.
Yeah.
So they go in. We get to see the Jinn be very much like, he's around the dudes now, you know? Like, he's around the dudes. He's got to be cool.
Well, when they first interact, he goes, I assumed he was blind, this big dude.
So did I a little bit. He looked like he was blind.
Like his pupils kind of looked glazed over.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And he's like, oh, you smell like you've been fucking humans or something like that.
Yeah. It was very much a bro. Like, it's so funny, though, because obviously when we meet the Jinn first, he's like, you know, he's swooning. He's swooning Salim and all these sorts of things. And then season later, he's like, what up, boys? Yeah, maybe it's because I fuck humans. Like, it was weird. And then it continues as well. Like, he gets down to Iktomi and speaking to him, he's like, hey, what's up, motherfucker? Like, you got that fucking sword? Right. Yeah. What are you doing? He's like, hey, man, what's up? You know, like, Wednesday needs this shit. This needs to do. You might need this too. He's like, yeah, well, You fucking watch yourself. All right, see you later, homie. Peace.
They called him Vulcan, like Votan doesn't owe favors or stuff like that.
Yeah.
They worship and doesn't do that, and it was just.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's still not working for me.
No.
It's still, yeah.
I can't say
they should have left it. They should have left it at that fucking Coming to America and just dropped it.
Yeah, I can't say I was the biggest fan of any of this, really, especially because it just, like the character I'm seeing of the Jinn, which I mean, it is like this very like bro like what? Yeah, because I fucked humans. Like, this whole thing, I'm like, this doesn't really. It doesn't add up to the character I thought was introduced to in the first season. And maybe they could turn around and be like, yeah, well, he was just pretending because he fucks humans. So
it feels like they've written themselves into a corner. They just don't know what to do with it.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. They're not doing anything. Yeah, I mean, with 3 episodes in there, I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, they finally did something. How do I feel about it? No.
Yeah, you could not have shown this, and he got in the spit like Celine coming up whenever he needs it. He goes, "Here, I grabbed it."
Yeah,
you don't need to see the journey of how it happened.
Not really. No,
at least from what we've seen so far, it just
I don't feel like any of it was relevant other than whatever that fucking plant seed thing was that was given to him as well.
I suspect it's a seedling of Yggdrasil, which in the mythology Odin sacrifices himself on.
Why?
Read into that what you will. I don't know the mythology. I think he sacrificed himself on it to gain like knowledge or something like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. So that's the only important thing really that comes out of the whole scene. None of their interactions with Nazkin or whatever his name is anything. And then their conversation with Victomi isn't really anything at all either, apart from just delivering the plant. Yeah, so that's a no from me. That's a just big old no from all of this. So some other random tidbits from the episode was, once again, there was no Bilquis this episode, which I thought was a bit weird, because I thought they were building her up to be one of the main characters of the episode, an important character, and all we got last episode was a 2-minute scene of nothing, and this episode we got to see absolutely nothing at all. So I'm surprised, I guess, a little bit somewhat by what they're doing with her, because I thought they were like, no, she's like the main like kind of female new god character we've got going on. We're going to do lots of interesting things with her this season. Don't you worry. 3 episodes in, she hasn't really done much.
Shit.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. And then I don't really know how much there is to say about the journey of Mad Sweeney. It's just
slapstick comedy.
It's just slapstick comedy thrown in throughout the episode, when really they could have just not shown him at all and then had him turn up in New Orleans next episode or something, and everyone would have been like, all right, he made it there somehow. Doesn't like,
or send him with fucking Wednesday, and then when she's left in the dust, fucking he can go, see, I told you so. And just fucking come with
then they continue their journey together or something, But instead, we just get a scene of him trying to get into cars. He gets attacked by a dog because there's one in the back of a car. Then he tries to get onto a boat and he accidentally catches the boat on fire. Then he's like nearly hit by a car. And then, of course, when he gets onto the car, it's a band of Christian rock band or something like that. It was all just one scene after another that was transitional things between all other scenes. And Look, the thing is, I'm like, he's like, that actor's Pablo Schreiber is good, right? And Mad Sweeney is funny character. So although none of these things made me laugh out loud, the boat one, I was, out of all of them, I was like, oh, the boat one's kind of a little bit funny, I guess, at this point. The car
I had a
one,
little chuckle myself when the dog was in the back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But like, still, with that said, I'm like, was this stuff necessary for the episode? And like, looking at it, do I like it? I'm like,
I guess the motive behind it was them to go, oh, look, see how bad his luck actually is, not near the coin.
And I'm like, but we know that. Like,
I know.
We know, anyone following the show understands that that's the law of what.
Like we said, they're not catering. They're catering to the lowest common denominator of audiences now.
Yeah.
Which, it's just what it is.
It's, it's so weird because I'm like, I don't hate them, but I'm just like, I don't like it either.
Yeah.
And then I still did get a little bit of like entertainment, but I still don't want it for some reason. I'm just like, I don't need this. Was there any other random things that I've missed that you want to bring up as we wrap up the episode?
When they pull out of the parking lot, Salim and Thingo, they're in the cracks in the pavement. It says "Somewhere in America."
Does it? In the cracks in the pavement?
Yeah. So when they're top down and they pull out after getting the sphere and the seedling, it pulls out. It's like cracks in the pavement up at the top of the frame. It's "Somewhere in America," which I guess in a way, because the chapter that this episode is based off, that's their "Somewhere in America" scene with Salim and the Jinn. What else is there? This is where we first meet Media in the book in this chapter.
Interesting.
Yeah. But other than that, like, I can't really think of anything major to bring up.
The only other thing I had was I thought the ending was kind of a weird spot because, of course, it has where Shadow shows up. Wednesday's there. Wednesday's like, "Hey, how are you going?" Shadow's like, "You need to give me fucking answers." Wednesday does the thing of, "Well, you only get answers when you earn them, not when you ask them," or something along those lines.
Well, which is, it's foreshadowing something that happens in the book.
Okay.
Another thing I found odd was the funeral home is run by Mr. Ibis and Mr. Jackal, and we don't see Mr. Jackal at all.
I don't know if the actor left as well or something. I don't.
Yeah, because if you remember, he
was in the first season.
Yeah, he was. He was that. Remember that story of the grandmother, I believe, that died in the apartment, and they go into space. Yeah, that was Mr. Jackal.
Yeah, so, and then he's just
absent. So
I mean, I suppose they didn't need him there as well. Like, it's not really necessary, but it's weird that it's like we know that it's both of them there. Like, they should both be there, and there's only one of them there. So
it'll be interesting to see if next episode that he's in it, because from what I remember, he has some pretty interesting speeches or monologues, I believe.
Well, they're not getting cut into this script, that's for sure. Let's be honest. But yeah, I think that I just found the ending weird because it's like, he's like, yeah, if you wake up in the morning and you don't feel fully refreshed, you can just take my car, which is somehow not destroyed, and you can just leave. That's what's going to happen. And then the episode ends. I'm like, it's not really much of a cliffhanger. Yeah. I know he's going to wake up in the morning and feel refreshed somehow for whatever reason, and the show's going to continue.
What they could have done, which I guess to be more in line with the book, he gets there, because the Raven kind of like in his dreams told him he needs to get to Cairo, and when he gets there, he is like a mess. He's fucking doubting everything, ready to commit suicide. They could have left it, got there, because Ibis and Jackal go, "Oh, we owe Wednesday a favour, you can sleep the night," or whatever, and stuff like that. They could have left it at the point where he is at that breaking point at the end of the episode and he goes to bed or something like that. And then if what they foreshadowing happens, would work well at the beginning of the next episode. So
when I was thinking about it, I honestly thought they could have ended it with him just like walking through that first gate.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like the Fireflies thing happens, the car takes off, go from cuts to a shot of him behind. He takes a couple steps forward into the premise or whatever, and then it just ends. Like you don't know who's there, you don't know what's going to happen, but like at least then there's a little more ambiguity about what's going on.
The other thing I can think of is like, we have to show Wednesday here, see what he's doing.
We don't know.
No, we don't, but I can imagine that's what they're thinking. As we said, we're catering to the general audience.
I guess. It's weird. So, I mean, it's just weird ending. I'm like, it's one of those things. I'm like, why did we need to show that he's there? Why did we need to have this conversation? Because it was one of those endings that and this I haven't watched a show where a show's ended weirdly like this for me for quite some time, where I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh no, I thought it was still going. Like I'm like, that was the end. Like I thought there would be another scene after that okay. All right, so next week's episode is called The Greatest Story Ever Told. Does that like bring significance for something potentially in the book that you think?
Well, the only thing I can think of is Mr. Ibis is, in regards to the law, the one that's telling all these coming to America stories. He's got this big fucking book that he writes all the stories down, which I can, in some way, alludes to that, I can imagine, but will remain to be seen.
Mm-hmm. I haven't actually watched the next week on, so I was just going totally on the title this week.
You don't see anything in there. No short anyway. It's very ambiguous.
Okay, cool.
Ambiguous.
I'll be surprised if it's some sort of like Coming to America thing, even though that's the title could.
Well, in the shorts for the season, you see the Mad Sweeney in battle gear and stuff like that. Kind of looks like in old Celtic England. So
yeah, that's true.
But
I'm like, is that the greatest story ever told? Is it really going to be about Mad Sweeney, the greatest story ever told?
Kind of like an amalgamation of just like all the gods. And
yeah, maybe they'll have a montage.
Maybe, but yeah, I don't know.
You're like, look, we understood you had plans to do these stories for the next X amount of seasons of the show. Yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to put them all in one episode. How's that sound?
Yeah.
One episode.
You want these stories here? Fucking have them.
Yeah, the episode is just all about them. All right, shut the fuck up. And then after that, we're back to our show. All right, that's it for this week's episode of Viewing God. Thank you for joining us. Your viewing gods, myself and Nicholas, of course. You can follow me on Twitter at Vivaladil, Vivaladil. You can talk to Nick on Discord at explosionnetwork.com/Discord. We no longer have moving, motion, promotional or trailer videos included in this show because we get sued by places. You can now watch the show on youtube.com/Explosion Network until they decide to copyright this video as well. Or you can listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, other podcasting services, of course, if that's how you want to go about it. Or, of course, you can find all the ways to do it and many more great things, including our movie and TV podcast, What Do You Want to Watch, at explosionnetwork.com. We'll see you here next week for episode 4. Hopefully Nick isn't hating the show by then. Swipe right on Bilquist, whatever we say.
Swipe right to show a scene for Bilquist.